What's going on, everybody? We are prepping for a kayak camping trip later this week. It's going to be me and two of my buddies going. I got two kayaks here. This big one here will be mine, and this one I'm going to let one of my friends use. My other friend, he's bringing his own kayak. Basically, we're just going to do a little one-night, overnight trip. We're not going far from home, just kind of to test, well, for fun, for one thing, but just to kind of test and see where we're at as far as how prepared we are, what we need to prepare for in the future, what skills we need in the future that we might not have. So yeah, it should just be a fun trip. We're leaving out of here, out of my house. There's like a little river access down there, and then we're probably just going to be going up north, and then we'll come back and try to find somewhere around here that we can camp. We're going to be camping in a tent, all three of us. So I'm bringing some earplugs because both of them snore pretty loud. We're going to do hammocks, but it's actually supposed to be pretty bad thunderstorms tomorrow. Pretty high chance of that, and even the next day. So I think we're going to get a tent, might put a tarp over it, might leave the rain fly off and put a tarp over it, get a little ventilation, shield us from the rain. But yeah, it's basically, I'm just right now going to show you guys what I'm taking. Not sure what the other guy's bringing for himself, but I've pretty much packed everything that all three of us are going to need. I told the other two guys basically just bring like clothes, water bottles, anything that they would want, but I took it upon myself to gather most of the gear that we're going to need for all three people for the trip. And like I said, we're leaving tomorrow, we're staying one night, we're coming home the next day. So nothing extravagant. We won't be bringing a ton of stuff. Probably, definitely coming a little over prepared for a one night trip, but I'd rather be over prepared than underprepared any day. So yeah, we're going to switch to the GoPro and I'll show you what all we're bringing. All right, we're on the GoPro now, and we're going to start with the tent. I'm actually going to fold this up and put it on the kayak, and you'll be able to see where I'm going to store it at on the kayak in the next little video clip here. But yeah, this is the tent we're using. I believe it is a 4-person tent. It's an Ozark Trail. Really happy with Ozark Trail as a brand overall. Their stuff is definitely on the cheaper end. You can buy it from Walmart, but although it is on the cheaper end, it's still pretty good stuff. I don't think I've ever had any of their equipment break on me when I needed it. I've got a couple of their tents, a whole bunch of knives of theirs, and then just like miscellaneous little camping supplies. And they all work pretty good. So this is one of the 4-person tents. We got 3 people going, so seems like it would be plenty of room. I myself am pretty small. I'm about 5'4", so I'll fit in here no problem. The other 2 guys, I think one's 5'10", the other was like 6'1" or 6'2". So, it's a 4-person tent, but with 3 of us in here and all of our gear in here, it's probably going to be pretty tight. So hopefully this works out. Probably going to leave the rain fly off. It's in the bag just in case we need it, but I might end up putting a tarp on top just so we have some ventilation. You see here with this mesh. That'll just give us better ventilation so everybody's breath ain't trapped in the in the tent all night. But yeah, that's it. All right, so we're gonna start off on this here first kayak. It is a Tamarack Angler. I believe it's a 10-foot kayak. Not putting a whole lot of equipment on this one. Not gonna put anything up front. Probably I'll alternate the GoPro. I've only got one GoPro, by the way. Plan on probably getting more as time and money allows. If any of these videos end up taking off or anything like that, I'll probably get more, keep one on each boat, and then maybe, put them on the side of the boat, like halfway in the water or something like that. Create a couple different angles and effects. But anyway, yeah, this boat is pretty simple. Don't have anything down there in a little storage bin. This is just a little flip-up seat. I did actually upgrade these 2 metal strap holders or whatever they're called. They had plastic ones on it originally. They broke, and the seat would like fall back, so you would basically just fall back there like every 5 minutes. My one friend was with me on a trip when that was happening. I was getting pretty pissed off at it. So yeah, upgraded those to metal so that they won't break. And then back here, the only thing we really have on this boat, I'll take this off here in a minute. This is probably the most interesting thing, but this here is that tent that I just showed you guys. Here's my Thermarest. It's a Thermarest Z Lite. Not sure if the other guys are bringing sleeping pads, but I am. So best of luck. Hope you remembered it, because we're sleeping on a pretty hard surface. It's like just dirt, but it's pretty solid. There's a lot of rocks and stuff like that. So hopefully they brought something of that nature. If not, then their back's probably gonna feel pretty good the next day. this is just a little box with all kinds of little stuff, and I'll show you guys in a second. And those are just the stakes to put the tent in the ground, and these are the poles to put the tent up. So let me take this out now and just show you guys kind of what's in here. Just some miscellaneous random stuff. I always take this with me whenever I go kayaking, even if I'm just going out for a couple minutes or whatever. I always take it. It's just got some nice emergency stuff to have in it, and stuff that you might need while you're out there. Like, for example, there's a little teeny first aid. Some of the stuff's redundant too. Like, I've got another big first aid kit on the other boat, but you know, never hurts to have multiple lighters and knives and things like that. This thing's pretty cool. It's like a little soaky saw. Shoot, it's kind of hard to operate with one hand, but anyway, right here, let me show you guys. There you go. So yeah, it's just a little portable saw, very sharp. This one's not as good. I have an actual silky saw. This is a Frisker's. I guess just because it's smaller, but Frisker's actually a pretty good brand. Their stuff's usually pretty sharp and well built. But I've got there's a brand called Silky, and they make these things, and that thing can cut through like a big ass piece of wood like butter. This one not so much, but it is nice because it's a lot smaller. You can fold it up and put it right in this little thing. And sometimes when you're out kayaking, you come across like trees and stuff like that that'll block your way. Obviously this little thing can't cut through a giant fallen tree in the middle of your path, but you know, if it's something that's only a couple inches thick, or I guess even like a foot thick, you could saw at it for a while, and then you could, you know, cut it, move it out of the way and get past. I've actually had to use one before. Actually I didn't have one of these. That's why I went and bought it. There was a big branch blocking our path, and I actually had to get off my boat and jump down into the water and like just manhandle it and break the limb off so that we could all pass. So anyway, I got one of these that I could keep in here. So yeah, aside from that, just some paracord. There's a guide in here for a fire starter, emergency ponchos, some gauze, little flashlight. Matter of fact, let me take the time to make sure this still works. Yep, probably can't tell, but still works. Lighter, you know, just little things like that. Nice little kit to have. There's just a little box that I got at Walmart. I think it was like $5. So, but it's, you know, perfect size to just put on your boat and go, or take anywhere. Keep, you know, it's actually nice to would be nice to, you know, fill it with stuff and keep it in your car too, for like a roadside kit or something of that nature. So yeah, it's a lot of good little stuff in there. Kind of like a smaller version of something I've got on the other boat that I'll show you guys in a second. But it's nice to have one on each boat in any case, because if that one flips and everything goes to the bottom of the deep blue, then you've got some more of that stuff right there. All right, so I think that's pretty much all we have on this first boat here, and we will go on to the second. All right, so this is the big boy here. This is a bona fide 12-foot 7-inch kayak. It is an absolute beast. It is super duper heavy, super duper long. It's really a pain in the ass to take this thing out by myself. I usually, if I'm just going out by myself for a short amount of time, I'll take the Tamarack, because this thing, I can lift it by myself, but it's not fun. So it doesn't really get water in it or anything like that, but it's just a big, heavy, awkward kayak. If I got somebody going with me, then I'll definitely take it. Or if I'm using my photography gear, then I'll take it, just because, you know, I don't want to dump thousands of dollars worth of equipment into the bottom of the river, because like this thing flips a lot easier. This thing will not flip. I can stand up on this thing and like rock and roll in it, and it's not going anywhere. But yeah, so let's get started with the equipment that we have on it, and we'll start up here in the front in this little hatch. We've got basically some stuff in here. I just don't want to we'll start off with something that I don't mind if it gets wet, because it is water. But I've got this Mountain Safety Research 10-liter bag to carry drinking water in. I actually just got this for this trip. I think it should be pretty cool. It's not all the way full. It's only got about 8 liters, and it's got 2 gallons in it, so about 8 liters. But that should be more than enough for 3 people for, you know, a day and a half or whatever we're going for. And then we'll also have river water that we can purify. I've got some life straws and stuff like that if we need it. I don't think we will. I don't think we really need to be washing utensils or anything like that, but if we do, we got it.
Got these here. It's a 4-person, like a mess kit, 4-person table setting, plates, cups, forks, knives, spoons. Got a bigger first aid kit in here than we had on the other boat. So that's there. Got my life jacket. Oh, I need to put the other life jacket on that boat for Cam. But yeah, so that's all that's in the hull of the boat. Close that back up. Basically, aside from the water, stuff in there that I don't want to get wet, and kind of the same deal with this here. Snap shut. I'm not sure if it's completely waterproof, but definitely more water resistant than everything else. This is really the compartment that I'm putting everything I really don't want getting wet. In the hull, I guess it could technically leak. There has been water in it before. So yeah, but this, I really don't want this stuff getting wet. So this is my portable charger. I charge my cell phone, GoPro, camera batteries, basically whatever I want, just plug right in there. It's an Anchor. I think it's 20,000 whatever units that they use. Got my GoPro case. I'm not going to take everything out of that, but it's just got a bunch of little hookups and things like that. That's just a charging cable. Another flashlight here, a little bit of paracord. This is some like pre-cut paracord that I've already used once before to basically just to attach to the handle or up to the front somewhere and like tie it off if I want to, you know, anchor and get out. This little thing here is cool. This is one of the highlights of the trip. We were originally going to do a trip where we just tried to forage our own food, like catch fish, and I mean, I ain't really into eating berries and mushrooms and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not knowledgeable enough about what to eat, what'll kill you, or what will make you just, you know, be off in la la land. I don't know. But this thing here is pretty cool. You can attach it to a little burner. Or it is a burner, excuse me. You can attach it to a little fuel source, and then you can put your little cups and stuff like that on it, and it just, all these little holes, they shoot out little jets of fire. So this should be cool. I've never used it before. I want to use it on this trip. That's one of the reasons I brought a couple of the food supplies that you'll see in a minute. So we're not doing completely primitive find your own food or die type of thing. We did bring some things solely because I wanted to test this thing out and make sure I knew how to use it in the future. All right, so got that button back up now. My GoPro is getting pretty damn hot. I don't know if it's because it's black and it's sunny or if it's because it's about to overheat and shut off. But yeah, if you see the video abruptly come to an end, then that means it got too hot. There's a chair that goes right here. I'm not putting it on right now just so I can show you guys. But the only thing I have in here, just got some bug spray and sunscreen. Don't really know how much we'll need that. Hopefully we won't, but we are in the woods, so mosquitoes. Yeah, just a little water bottle. Ozark Trail, 20 liters, I think. I don't know. Doesn't say. But yeah, cool little water bottle. It's also, maybe I shouldn't have got a black one because that's pretty warm. Yeah, lesson learned. Don't get a black water bottle. I've got a ton of little knives and stuff like that laying around. Can never have enough of those. Knives and fire starters. Can never have enough. Back here, sleeping bag. This is a bag with just some extra clothes in it. Got pants for nighttime, or if the bugs get really bad. Probably just gonna wear like shorts and flip-flops, honestly, tomorrow while I'm paddling anyway. But it's got some like gym pants in it in case the bugs get bad or it gets cool at nighttime. It's got a rain jacket in it because it is supposed to thunderstorm tomorrow at some point. I believe, oh, it's got an extra pair of socks in it as well, even though I don't think I'm bringing shoes, but again, in case it gets cold or something like that. This little thing here, I'm not going to open it up, but it's got a million little things for camping, all kinds of, I'll just go with some of the stuff that I can see right off top. Paracord, lighter fluid, medical gloves, lighters, flashlights, knives, candles, multi-tool up there. This is like a little weird little card, the multi-tool card thing. I don't even know. Forget it. Actually, I will open this part of it up so you guys can see. Oh yeah, there's my little cooking kit. It's got some, that's what I'll be cooking in. So I'll show you in a second what we brought to eat. But those little cups right there, that's what I'll be using to cook with on that little burner thing that I showed you in there. More bug spray. There are some cotton balls. one of the best fire starters that I've found is to take petroleum jelly. Yes, I carry it all the time in my truck, and every time people see it, they're like, dude, why you got Vaseline in your truck? But it's because, like, I never know when something's gonna happen. I'm gonna need to make a fire, and I just like keeping that kind of stuff in my truck so I don't have to pack everything every time I go camping, which is fairly frequently. So yeah, I keep cotton balls and petroleum jelly in my truck. You basically just take the cotton balls and you slather them in petroleum jelly, and it works out really good because the cotton lights up really quick when you put a flame to it, and then the petroleum jelly keeps it burning. And it's definitely a nice, quick, easy, cheap way to start a fire, assuming that you know how to build like a little fire out of small sticks and bigger and bigger and bigger until you get a real fire going. But yeah, so that's in there. Got a little headlamp in there, some alcohol, like rubbing alcohol. Got these leather gloves, a couple lighters, emergency blanket, some fishing stuff, and paracord in there. Lock that up. And finally, I think this is the last thing we really have. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to open it up. You can see some of it. Got some trail mix just in case we need a snack. I got some green beans, and I've got some olive oil in there. We're going to be cooking, I'm going to be making some rice, so I got a little pack of dry rice in here. This is my little canister of propane for a little burner. And then I've got dry rice, and I've got some Dentimore beef stew. So I'm going to make like a rice with beef stew on top of it. And we're going to heat all that up in those little cups that were in this blue thing, and the little burner, and then the propane that's in here. So yeah, I think that's everything that we're bringing. If you guys you know, saw something that you don't think is necessary, obviously, like I said, it's a one-night trip, so a lot of this stuff probably isn't necessary. But in the future, I'd like to do, you know, 2, 3, even week-long trips. So yeah, and the thing about kayak camping, it seems, is that, you know, you always want to bring as much stuff. You always want to have every little thing that you'll ever need, but you're fighting against weight, because the more weight you have on your boat, that means the harder you're going to have to paddle, the more energy you're going to expend, the more time you're going to have to spend unpacking and repacking everything up. So yeah, I think it's a kind of a unique thing. A lot of times with camping, especially now, people just you know, throw everything in their camper and roll out. But with this, you gotta kind of be pretty particular about the stuff that you bring. So if you guys saw anything that you don't think is necessary, or a better way to do anything, or if you see something that I didn't bring that you think is necessary, just let me know in the comments.
You can't tell me the deck is stacked. Whisper behind my back. You can show me how the odds are up against me all day long, but I've been through the fire and come out alive, and there's no more fear in my eyes. Oh, now I'm rising, and you can't bring me down. You can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. And my feet have come too far for you to tie him to the ground. You can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. Set my sights on where I'm going at, and turn it back around. You can't stop me now. You can't stop me. All the blood, sweat, and sacrifice. Oh, I paid the dearest price. There's no shortcuts here for destiny. I'll take the long way proud. Oh, I know what I've earned, and now it's my turn to light in the fuse, let it burn. My time is rising, but you can't bring me down. Can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. My feet have come so be warned. You can't stop me now. You can't stop me now. All my feet have come too far for you to tie them to the ground. Can't stop me now. You can't stop me now. Set my sights on where I'm going now. You turn it back around. Can't stop me. Oh yeah, you can't stop me now. No, 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 you can't stop me. You can't stop, no, you can't stop me. No, 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 you can't stop me now.
Coming up Allie's rear, I thought I'm gonna have to give him a 15-minute break earlier. And a cigarette. Looking good so far?
Pull up all the way, then pull me up.
Coming in. Watch your fingies. Alright guys, I think we might have found a spot here. Got our 3 kayaks. Not really sure exactly where we're at, but it's somewhere between Greensboro and Red Bridges. We just found like this little pathway leading back into the woods here. Little beach. There's Cam's ass crack for you guys.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry to traumatize everyone.
Might be able to. I'm gonna check on my phone real quick and just make sure we're not on anybody's property, and you know, send my wife the location exactly where we're at in case we go missing or something like that. But hopefully that doesn't happen. But yeah, looks pretty good. It's got some nice flat land. It looks like it's not too overgrown. I don't see any poison ivy or anything like that. So we might end up staying here.
All right, so we decided not to stay at that little place that we just stopped at in the last clip. Found out that it was on the edge of a farming property, and I had some run-ins with farmers before, different times of my life, and whether it be photography or back when I used to work for an electric company, yada yada. And they're pretty particular about, you know, people not being on their property, which you got to respect that as their property. So yeah, didn't want anybody waving shotguns in our faces in the middle of the night. So we left out of there. There was also some poison ivy that we'd found, and wasn't really any great flat spots to set up the tent. So this clip here, we are headed into kind of where our destination was for the day. This is Christian Park, or Red Bridges as some people call it. This is the back end of it. There's like a little waterfall fishing spot, and people go swimming just a little bit further, maybe 100 or 2 feet up ahead of this little spot. We just stopped here to take a break and basically see if we could find a spot here to camp. That's really what we kind of set out to do, was stop there and find a camping spot. But there's a lot of people up there. There's people there when we stopped, and it's kind of sketchy up there sometimes. And also there was just straight up not a good flat spot for us to set up our tent. So anyway, we decided to turn around and go home to a previous spot we had found. However, we kept checking the radar. The storms were getting pushed all further and further, and we thought we were good till about 6. So we were gonna, if we couldn't find a spot at that last place that you guys just saw, we were gonna go back to another spot we found. But no sooner than we made that determination did it start thundering. We checked the radar again, and now it said it was supposed to start pouring down rain and thunderstorming any minute. So we turned around, we headed back, and we decided if we can beat the storms, that we're just going to head back to where we launched at and just stay there, because we knew that there was no poison ivy. We knew that there was a flat spot there for us to set up our tent. We knew we were safe there. If in the middle of the night somebody hurt themselves or it really started lightning or anything like that, we'd be paddling in the dark with not really any good source of lighting, trying to get back to a safe spot. And just decided that, you know, with this being kind of a trial run anyway, that probably wasn't the best. So yeah, this is just kind of a little scene of us paddling back. We really were booking it back home at this point, trying to beat the storm because the sky started turning dark. Every couple minutes we could hear thunder, and definitely didn't want to get stuck in heavy rain, which, you know, just so we didn't have to get our stuff all wet, but definitely didn't want any lightning or anything like that while we're in the water. So we decided to head back to home base, but if we saw any lightning, that we were just going to pretty much pull off on the side of the river wherever we were, and that was going to be where we were camping at for the night. So yeah, just a little cruising here for a little bit. And it was a nice ride, though. We really dodged the rain pretty well. Couple little raindrops, as you'll see here in the next couple clips. It started raining pretty heavy right as we were about to go under a bridge, so we actually went ahead and stopped there for a little bit until the rain passed. But it was a nice paddle back. There was a nice breeze blowing. It was hot all day, so that breeze was welcome. I think right here the thunder was cracking really loud, but we had some copyright infringement issues, so that's why I'm doing this little voiceover right now. We had some AC/DC and some Motley Crue and stuff like that playing in the background, jamming while that was our motivation to get paddling home quick. But I didn't realize that you could get busted up pretty bad for putting that stuff on YouTube. So here's where we're just about to come under the bridge, and I believe the next clip we are under the bridge, just kind of hanging out waiting for the storm to pass.
Pulled in under the little bridge here in Greensboro. Taking a little break from the rain. Gonna check the radar and see if it's supposed to clear up at all. Either way, I feel like we're too close to home at this point to not just go all the way back, unless it's gonna be way worse, and then we'll be staying under this bridge for tonight. Everybody, just wanted to do a quick little walkthrough of what we're doing for dinner tonight. I got this 1 pound bag of rice here. I got some olive oil back over on my kayak. We're going to do some Denny-Moore beef stew. And this is our little burner that we're going to use. It is, I think I might have told you guys wrong, it just says blended fuel. Yeah, butane propane mix is what it is. So, yeah, we're going to just show you guys. Got this thing off Amazon, it's pretty cool. Get the juices flowing. There you go. And we'll just put a little water in here. Got some nice drinking water that we'll use. Put that right on top. Let it boil. We're going to use a bigger cup in this, by the way. It's just easier for the video. Then we will let it boil. Put the rice in. Put some tin foil on top. Let that cook for about, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. And then that should be done. And then we're just going to throw the beef stew right on top. So it'll be like a little rice with beef stew on top. And that's what we're going to do for dinner. All right, so we are getting the tent put together now. Like I said, it's a 4-person tent. We've blocked it off with the truck. It's supposed to only be for people who live back here, but there's people who come back down here. There's always trash and crap laying on the ground. So I don't really know what time of day those people like to come back here, but I don't want them running over our tent. So use my truck to block the tent that'll have us sleeping in it. I think we're gonna leave the rain fly off and just do a tarp over the top of it. So that's what they're rigging up now. This tent here, we're gonna have it angled so that it's higher on this side and it's gonna slope down like this. That way the water, if you guys have ever used a tarp to like make a little shelter, you got to angle it in some way or else the water will pool in the middle and eventually it'll get too heavy and either fall or bust, and then everything underneath of the tarp is going to be all wet, which kind of defeats the purpose of putting it up in the first place. So yeah, we're going to angle the tarp from high to low this way, because if you can see, that's kind of the natural flow of the water anyway. There's like this little crevasse in the ground that comes from up there, and then all the water runs out to the river. So that should hopefully work perfectly. All right, so here we are. We got pretty much everything out of our boats at this point. Some of the stuff we'll leave, like these are waterproof. I was actually really happy about all of the equipment that I had on my kayak today. I'm not the cleanest kayak in the world. I definitely sling a lot of water. The only thing that I noticed was a little bit damp was my sleeping bag, which isn't a big issue because it's not super cold outside, and it wasn't really that bad, so I think it'll be okay. Guys, did you have anything that got like super wet that we weren't really prepared for?
All dry.
All dry. Wow, Flu didn't get a speck of water on him the whole entire time.
And I was the opposite.
And he was covered. So yeah, I'm just going to show you guys like a little rundown of our tent setup, what we've got in our tents, and then some of the stuff on the outside. Flu's big heads blocking. We got a little lamp set up. I have these little waterproof bags, and I just kind of put little clips on there to hold that over top of the light so that we can leave that out here all night. It is supposed to start raining, storming, whatever, in a little bit. Adult beverage action going on. So yeah, we wanted to keep the light dry as possible. I think it's water resistant, probably not completely waterproof, but that bag hopefully will help. Got a little clothesline going on here. Just some random stuff. We do have an actual clothesline over there by my paddle. Not sure that we'll actually use it because anything that's on it is going to be super wet, but it's there if we need it. Got one of these little mosquito repellent things. These things, what is it called? A thermocell. These things are like magic. They create like a 15-foot dome around this little device, and they really do work very well. So if you're ever camping in a spot that has bad mosquitoes, these things actually do work like super well, and then you don't have to spray a bunch of bug spray, and stain can be sticky all night. So yeah, thermocell, what is it? Does it have like a sub name to it? I can't read it, it's too small. It's a thermocell mosquito repellent emitter or something like that. Inside the tent, that's focusing on the mesh there, but inside the tent we've got 3 sleep pads. I've got a sleeping bag. I'm using one of my little water resistant bags as a pillow. Don't know how that's going to work, but we shall see. I didn't bring a pillow, so is what it is. Yeah, we got the rain fly on the tent for right now. We're just gonna see. It's supposed to start raining here real soon. Again, pretty heavy. We'll see how bad that is. We might take this off for extra ventilation, not sure. So the tarp, we've got it connected on 3 sides. We're just kind of letting this corner dangle. Didn't feel like we could have staked it into the ground or on that tree over there, but for now it's just kind of dangling. We did angle the tent, like I said, or the tarp, like I said, to help the rain kind of fall off. But we did find that it didn't have a very steep angle. It was really tight and it was kind of flat. So I just took my bag of tent stakes and we hung that from there to create, you can kind of see it's like a little V. So the rain should fall right down that little valley and hopefully come out here onto the ground. So yeah, that's kind of what we got going on right now. Oh, Cam's gonna try to set up his hammock, and depending on how bad the rain is, he might sleep in that tonight. But if not, we've got a spot for him in the tent. All right, everybody, I just wanted to do a quick little video of basically like what we did today. At this point, we've set up camp. We've got all our stuff out into the tent or out there over by the tent, and we've loaded our kayaks back up into my truck. So yeah, I just wanted to give like a rundown of what we actually did today, because we are back where we launched at this morning. So it might not seem like we really went too far or did a whole lot of testing out our survival abilities, but our trip today consisted of, so we're in Greensboro, Maryland right now, a little bit south of Greensboro, like headed towards Denton, and we paddled about 5 miles today. I believe it's 5 miles. It's just off the top of my head. It might have been less than that. I'm not sure, but we went from here to Red Bridges or Christian Park, whatever you local guys might know that as. I believe it's about five miles away. So it took us about 5 hours to get up there. We made a lot of stops. We were just, kind of having fun, enjoying ourselves, taking it easy on the paddle. And we're also looking for spots to camp at. We didn't necessarily want to come back to home base and camp out here, but a couple of the issues that we were having is a big issue is we didn't know whose property we were on for a lot of it. I was hoping to find like an island or something like that that was just kind of in the middle of the river, because I don't think anybody owns any of those. but we did not. We found a couple. I think we stopped at like 4 or 5 different spots that we thought it might have been prospective, but aside from not knowing whose property they were on, if some guy, you know, some farmer dude was going to come out of his house in the middle of the night with waving a shotgun in our faces, don't want that. Also, the other things that we were looking for were a nice flat spot to set up the tent. Tent's not super huge, but all the places we stopped, I think only 2 of them had like a spot that we could actually set up the tent at, and all 3 of us sleep in there comfortably. Aside from that, I personally have never got poison ivy, but these 2 get it pretty bad, and that was a factor on a couple of them. We saw poison around, so yeah, didn't want to, you know, just a one-night trip, just doing it for fun and testing ourselves out. Don't really want to risk anything like that just for you know, a video and some testing. So anyway, we didn't find any perfect spots on the way up there or the way back, so we ended up just coming back here. Like I said, it was about a 5-hour trip up there. Took us about an hour and a half to get back because we were really paddling our asses off, because we were, you know, we heard thunder in the distance and we knew rain was coming, so we were really hauling ass, not making any pit stops or just kind of hanging out and talking or anything like that, jumping up on logs, as you guys have seen. Yeah, so we hauled ass back. It was a pretty good trip. There, like I said, there was thunder the whole time. Right before, we did make a little pit stop under a bridge. Right before we got there, it started pouring its ass off raining. So it took us about 5 minutes from the time it started raining to get under that bridge, and we got there just in time, because as soon as we pulled our kayaks up and hung out for a minute or two, it started really just dropping out. And yeah, we made good time on that, got lucky. We're under that bridge for about 15 minutes, checked the radar, said it was gonna subside. So as soon as it did, we took off and left again. And then we just, like I said, hauled ass all the way back here. We set everything up, and now we're just kind of unwinding and enjoying ourselves. We just had a couple snacks not too long ago, so we're probably gonna wait till after dark to cook our dinner, which is a little bit of a disappointment as far as the video goes, just because we're not gonna have the best lighting to show you guys, like, you know, how we're cooking everything. Depends on the lighting conditions. I might end up just showing you guys the final product, but hopefully we can get a couple little shots of everything cooking and all that good stuff. But yeah, we are back, we are safe, and now it's time to throw some music on and have a good time. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and make some dinner now. We're gonna do rice and Dinty Moore beef stew. We're just gonna cook the rice, cook that separate, and then pour the beef stew on top of the rice. So, I have no idea how big these cups are, but I know that when I cook at home, it's 1 cup of rice to 2 cups of water. So it's a 2-to-1 ratio. So I'm just gonna try to eyeball it. There's like a kind of sort of a little line in here. So we'll fill the rice up to that line. We got 3 people. Okay. All right, cool. I think that's about right. So we're gonna put that in our big pot. Hold that for me, please, sir. Now we'll do our water. Actually, I think this is probably about twice as much if I fill it all the way up. So I'm just gonna do that. Fill it all the way up with water. And hopefully that's about a good ratio. If not, might have a little moist rice, or maybe not quite moist enough. I think that should about do it. Love this little MSR bag, it's nice. All right, so go ahead and pour that in there. And all right, we're back. Go ahead and put the olive oil in again. Just gonna eyeball it. It's a brand new thing, gotta open her up. Should probably be good. Give it some extra lube. All right, and just gonna stir that up real quick. Make sure it's got some, I like to call it lube. Got some lube around all the little grains of rice. Everybody's happy. Nobody's left out. We're inclusive here. All right, cool. Now, we'll go ahead and bring the camera over here. Go ahead and open this up. All right, and here it's flowing. And we'll go ahead and put this right on top. I think we can probably, well, that's okay. I think we can pull these out now. It was making it tip earlier, but hopefully it won't now. Feel good?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So don't have any like lids. I feel like that's old. I'm gonna rip that off. Don't have any lids to cover this with, just because cover rice when you cook it typically. So I'm just gonna use a little aluminum foil. Got a nice little tight barrier there, and I can smell some finger hairs burning. And we're gonna let that sit for like 20 minutes. I'll check on it periodically and stir it up. All right, and then also we've got our beef stew cooking right next to the fire. Evidently the cans are lined with like plastic, so you're not supposed to put them right on top of the fire. I did not know that. Thanks, Flu. I've been eating cans that way for my whole life, so I don't know, maybe that's what's stunning my growth or something. But yeah, so we're just kind of warming them up next to the fire. Depending on how hot they are when the rice is done, then we might throw them on a little burner and let them finish cooking, and then we'll just pour them on top of the rice. I have to burn my plastic bowl there. All right, there we go. That's what we're having for dinner tonight.
Dinner is served.
Bone apple teeth. All right, guys, and that was kind of it for the night. After that, after dinner, we just kind of sat back by the campfire, told a couple spooky stories and reminisced about life and talked about things that we all have going on. And overall, it was just a good night. Nice to be with two of my best friends and, you know, share that experience together. Everything went well. We all learned a lot. We got lucky a couple times with the weather. I don't think anybody got poison ivy or anything like that. And there's just some clips of the next day when we woke up. Still raining lightly, but everything was pretty dry. You know, we had the tarp up. The tent was dry underneath. And yeah, it was a good experience overall. So thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, if you guys have any, this is our first time doing it. So if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to let me know in the comments. And as always, like, share, subscribe is always appreciated. Thank you guys for tuning in.